first going to talk about the market as a whole, and then I'm going to kind of narrow it down to our local market here, because that's what's extremely important to all of us, right? So so first off, share with somebody that you think might benefit from this. Maybe you know somebody that's either buying or selling in 2020. This will be great information. I'm first going to talk about the market as a whole, and then I'm going to kind of narrow it down to our local market here, because that's what's extremely important to all of us, right? So first and foremost, if I'm just going to put a baseline here, the housing market across the country looks like it's going to go kind of sideways, right? We're not going to be going to any extreme unless you live in certain cities. I'm not going to get into that, but there shouldn't be an extreme on either side. There shouldn't be too many highs or too many lows. So our my freaking mind just went blank. Our unemployment is staying at a 50-year low. It's extremely low, so there's not a lot of unemployed people, which is good. Consumer confidence is high. Interest rates are low and still expecting to remain low. Keep in mind the average interest rate, something like 8%. Don't quote me on that, but somewhere in that realm. And we've been underneath 4 for a long time, and it's expecting to stay that way throughout the entire year, which is awesome. We should have a minor growth of about 1% in new construction sales. Now, some areas are going to be a lot higher than that. They're expecting something like 750,000 new constructions, which is like an 11% increase year over year, which is good. It means there's going to be a lot more new houses on the market. We've been needing that for a long time. So that's going to kind of hinder some things. It's going to affect some other things. So with that, existing home sales are going to kind of teeter off. So these are homes that are already built that are being resold. They're expecting about 5.6 million there. That's about a 4% increase. So still increasing. We're going to have more inventory in most markets, but there's also going to be more new construction, which this is good because we've been on a listing shortage for a while now. Which is what's driving prices up so high. So this should ease back growth a little bit on home prices. So they should not be exceedingly high. In the last 5 years, we've grown about 25%. Here in this area, it's actually been a little bit higher, but overall about 25% in 5 years, which is extremely fast. We're going to see that teeter off to about 1% increase this year, we think. Of course, these are all predictions. You never know what's going to happen, right? Interest rates, like I said, remaining steady, probably ending the year somewhere between 3.7 and 3.9 is what they're expecting at the end of 2020. And that's kind of the same across the board. Most of the big predictors are saying the same thing, right? So let's talk about local. Right here, Fort Walton Beach and the surrounding areas, we're expecting to see an increase of about 4% in price. So we're still a little bit higher. We've been consistently behind the market year over year for the last, well, at least since I've been in real estate. So that doesn't surprise me that we're still rising in price a little bit. This creates a great market for sellers, of course, and it's going to start bringing in mixed deals for buyers, right? So consistently over the last year or two, we've been seeing buyers get into bidding wars and having to really come to the table with less concessions and not getting, a great deal per se. On top of that, with pricing increases, it's kind of hurting the buyer a little bit. So now we're going to see the buyer being able to compete a little bit better and being able to get a little bit more off the price. Maybe not much. We're not swinging into a buyer's market by any means, but we are teetering that off. We've been kind of like this for the last several years, and now we're kind of like this. It's going to help just a little bit. I don't think it's going to be anything noticeable, really, but unless you're in the industry seeing it day to day, so don't expect anything crazy. And let's see here, what else we got? Bidding wars kind of going down. Let's go for some tips here for our sellers. The market's still good. You're going to make a lot of money. We're even exceeding what our prices were back before the crash. Back when Lehman Brothers crashed in 07 or whatever, and it crashed the housing market, we're still seeing great returns. The prices are back up and even above that. So let's not get greedy. That's kind of the whole point here. Greed needs to stop. We need to stop being as aggressive as we have been. Over the last year or two, we've been telling our sellers to be very aggressive and price it up there, and we're still getting multiple offers. That's going to teeter off just a little bit. Now, this is not going to teeter off completely. while we're still expecting probably about 25% of most home sales are going to be in a bidding war anyway. But it is going to teeter off a little bit. So getting a little bit less aggressive on your price would be good. So if we think the max price is $350, going to $360 or $370 just to test it is probably going to hurt you now a little bit more than it did in 2019 and 18. For our buyers, we're going to have a little bit better negotiations, which is good. You should be able to, here in our market locally, we're able to get seller concessions anyway pretty easily, and that's going to remain the same, but we might even be able to get a little bit off list price now as the market starts teetering off just a little bit and moving a little bit more sideways. Let's see here, what else I got? Since prices still are rising here in our area, unfortunately, first-time home buyers are still getting hurt by that. A lot of people in the sub 200K range are not able to find something that really matches everything that they want. But of course, you're a first-time home buyer, so you kind of have to expect that. We've been very lucky the last almost decade, really, where first-time home buyers can really get a nice home for a very inexpensive price. And that is now teetering on the other side. If you're sub 200K, you're not getting the beautiful home that's big with the huge lot and all the amenities. There's going to be something. You're going to have some sort of concessions to take from there. So your beautiful kitchen might not be there if you want your big yard, or you might get your big yard, or you might get your nice kitchen, but now all the flooring isn't that great, or the roof is old, et cetera, et cetera. And this is off subject completely, but our roofs are old here in this area. I even came through in 2005. So that ripped off a ton of roofs in this area. So we're going to see that a lot. I know we've been talking about that the last couple of years already, but just note that if the roof hasn't been replaced, the age is getting up there, and we're seeing a lot of old roofs. That's all there is to it. And then lastly, it is an election year. Every election year we see a slowdown. We see it approximately a month or two before and approximately a month or two after. It doesn't mean the market stops, but consumer confidence goes down a lot. It literally tanks. Everybody's scared. I don't know what people are scared about, like the president's going to stop. Whoever the next president's going to be is going to stop the housing market or something. I don't know. But as a whole, consumer confidence drops. So we see a big drop there. So what I do expect is right before the election, we should have a big burst. For you realtors, there'll be a big burst of sales there. There'll be a lot of buyers in the market. There'll be a lot of people trying to get their house sold. And then, of course, right after, once consumer confidence goes a little bit higher and starts building back up, we'll see that increase all the way up until the end of the year. So that's our 2020 market prediction in a nutshell. Again, if you guys haven't already, hit that like button, share it with somebody that might benefit from it. And let's have a great 2020. Hopefully I'll get my voice back soon. And we look forward to helping. If there's any questions you guys have at all, there's a comment section down. I don't know where you're watching this, whether it's Facebook or YouTube or wherever, because we put this all over. Put your comment section down below, or put your comment in the section down below, and we'll answer whatever questions we can. Keep in mind, these are just predictions, guys. So it's nothing set in stone. Hope you have a good year. See ya.